Ladies, what if I told you there's a secret that could completely transform your intimate relationships? Something so powerful that when you discover it, you'll never look at connection the same way again. Most women focus on the obvious, the techniques everyone talks about, the moves you see in movies. But there's something deeper, something that creates a bond so profound that you become absolutely unforgettable to your partner. I'm not talking about being more adventurous or wilder. I'm talking about understanding the psychology of masculine pleasure in a way that most women never explore. When you master this, you don't just satisfy his body, you reach his soul. Today, I'm going to reveal the hidden emotional and physical triggers that can create the kind of intimacy that leaves a lasting imprint. The kind that makes you irreplaceable, not because of what you do, but because of how you make him feel completely seen, safe, and transformed. If you've ever wondered how to create the kind of connection where he doesn't just desire you physically, but craves your energy, your presence, your unique way of loving him, stay with me. Because what I'm about to share will change everything you thought you knew about intimate connection. Let's start with a truth that might surprise you. Most men have never experienced their full capacity for pleasure and emotional intimacy. They've been conditioned to believe that masculine pleasure is simple, automatic, and surface level. But that's not true. Behind every confident man is someone who secretly craves the kind of intimate connection where he doesn't have to perform, lead, or be in control, where he can simply receive and feel deeply without judgment. As women, we have an incredible opportunity and power to create this space. But it requires us to shift our understanding from physical techniques to emotional mastery. It means becoming the kind of woman who doesn't just turn him on, but turns him inward. Throughout history, the most unforgettable women weren't necessarily the most beautiful or experienced. They were the ones who understood that true seduction happens in the mind and heart, not just the body. They knew how to make a man feel simultaneously vulnerable and strong, surrendered yet powerful. Today, we're going to explore 5 key areas that will transform your intimate relationships. Understanding masculine psychology and intimacy, the hidden pleasure points that are both physical and emotional, creating emotional safety during vulnerability. The art of aftercare and deeper bonding, building lasting desire through authentic connection. This isn't about manipulation or tricks. This is about becoming a woman who understands the depths of intimate connection and uses that knowledge to create relationships that are truly extraordinary. Here's what most women don't realize: men are conditioned from a young age to be givers, leaders, and performers, even in intimate moments. They're taught that their value comes from what they can provide, how well they perform, and their ability to maintain control. But deep down, every man has a part of him that just wants to receive, to be cherished, to let go completely without judgment. The problem is, most have never had a partner confident enough or emotionally intelligent enough to create that space. This is where you have incredible power as a woman, when you understand that his deepest pleasure comes not from being impressed by your performance, but from feeling safe enough to completely surrender with you. Everything changes. The psychology of masculine surrender men associate vulnerability with weakness because society teaches them to. But in intimate moments, vulnerability is actually where the deepest pleasure and connection lie. When you can make a man feel that it's safe to be completely open with you, physically and emotionally, you unlock something most women never access: key insight. His body holds years of tension from always having to be on. When you create an environment where he can truly let go, the release isn't just physical, it's emotional, psychological, and deeply bonding. The emotional landscape, fear of judgment. Most men worry about being seen as less masculine if they show deep emotion or vulnerability during intimacy, performance pressure. They're used to focusing on your pleasure rather than receiving control patterns. Letting go of control feels foreign and initially uncomfortable. Trust barriers. True surrender requires complete trust, which many have never experienced. Your role as the sacred space holder. As women, we have the natural ability to create emotional sanctuary. When you approach intimacy with the intention of being his safe space rather than his entertainment, you step into a power that's both ancient and profound. This means leading with curiosity rather than expectation, creating permission for him to simply feel without having to perform, holding space for his emotions without trying to fix or change them, understanding that his deepest pleasure comes through surrender, not dominance. When you master this psychological foundation, the physical techniques become far more powerful because they're coming from a place of genuine understanding rather than just trying to impress. Now let's talk about the physical aspect that most women overlook, not because it's too complicated, but because no one talks about it openly. The physical reality. There's an area between the base of his testicles and his anus called the perineum. This spot is incredibly nerve-rich and directly connected to the prostate. When stimulated properly, it can create full body experiences that are completely different from typical physical release. But here's the crucial part. This isn't about technique alone. It's about the energy and intention you bring to it. The art of approach. Build trust first. This area requires complete relaxation. If he's tense or uncertain, the experience won't work. Use your voice, your presence, and your patience to create safety. Start slowly. Begin with light touches around the inner thighs. Let your hands explore without rushing toward any destination. This builds anticipation and helps him relax into receiving. Use intention, not pressure, when you do make contact with this area. Use the flat of your fingers or palm with gentle, steady pressure. Think of it like pressing a button slowly and deliberately, not poking or prodding. Breathe together, match his breathing rhythm. On exhales, apply slightly more pressure. On inhales, ease back. This creates a natural flow that his body can follow. Combined stimulations, this works best when combined with other forms of stimulation. Your mouth, your other hand, your entire presence focused on his pleasure, the emotional pleasure points. But here's what's even more powerful than physical technique, understanding his emotional pleasure points, permission to receive. Most men rarely get to simply receive pleasure without having to give back immediately. When you say things like, "Just let me focus on you," or "You don't have to do anything but feel," you're touching an emotional pleasure point, feeling truly seen. When you pay attention to his responses, not just physical but emotional, and you adjust based on what you observe, he feels understood at a level most people never reach. Safety and vulnerability. The moment you make it clear that his pleasure, his sounds, his responses are beautiful to you rather than something to judge, you create emotional safety that amplifies every physical sensation. The sacred masculine. When you treat his body and his pleasure as something sacred rather than just functional, you awaken a part of him that's often neglected. Creating the experience. Remember, the goal isn't just to create a strong physical response. It's to create an experience where he feels completely held, seen, and free to surrender. When you combine skilled touch with emotional presence, you create something unforgettable. The physical techniques are important, but they're just the vehicle. The real magic happens when he feels safe enough to completely let go with you. This is where most women miss the opportunity to create true intimacy. They focus on the physical experience, but don't understand how to hold space for the emotional vulnerability that follows. Understanding male vulnerability. When a man experiences deep physical pleasure, especially the kind we just discussed, something profound happens emotionally. All his usual defenses come down. The masks he wears, the control he maintains, the performance he's used to giving, it all dissolves. In that moment, he's completely open. And for many men, this is terrifying because they've been taught that openness equals weakness. Your role as sacred witness, this is your moment of greatest power and responsibility. How you respond to his vulnerability will determine whether this becomes a transformative experience or something he shays away from in the future. K principles: stay present. Don't check out mentally or emotionally. This is not the time to think about what's next or analyze what just happened. Be completely here with him. Use your voice wisely. Soft words of affirmation work magic here. You're safe with me. I love watching you let go. You're beautiful like this. These aren't just nice things to say. They're rewiring his brain to associate vulnerability with safety rather than danger. Physical comfort keeps some form of gentle physical contact. A hand on his chest, fingers in his hair, your body close to his. This grounds him and prevents the emotional withdrawal that many men default to. Don't rush the moment. Resist the urge to immediately move on to something else or make jokes to lighten the mood. Let him stay in this space for as long as he needs. The aftercare ritual, what happens in the minutes after intense intimacy, is just as important as the experience itself. This is where deep bonding occurs, creating sacred space. Keep the environment calm and unrushed. Use gentle touches that aren't sexual but are deeply comforting. Speak softly and only when it feels natural. Let silence be okay. It's often in the quiet moments that the deepest connection happens. Words that heal instead of "how was that?" Try "I love being close to you like this." Instead of immediately talking about other things, try "just breathe with me." Instead of praise about performance, try expressions of connection. "I feel so close to you right now," reading his emotional needs. Every man processes vulnerability differently. Some need quiet connection, some need gentle affirmation, some need physical closeness without words, some need space to process, but with the reassurance that you're not going anywhere. Learning to read his specific needs and respond accordingly is what transforms you from just a lover to someone he can't imagine without. Building trust for future intimacy. How you handle these vulnerable moments determines whether he'll be willing to go there again. When you consistently show up as a safe space for his openness, you create a foundation for increasingly deeper intimacy. This isn't just about being supportive. It's about understanding that you're literally rewiring his relationship with vulnerability and intimacy. You're showing him that being open doesn't make him weak. It makes him more fully himself. Here's where most women unknowingly sabotage their own power. They think the intimate experience ends with the physical climax, but that's actually where the real bonding begins. The neurochemical reality after intense intimacy, especially the kind that involves deep vulnerability, his brain is flooded with oxytocin, the bonding hormone. His nervous system is in a state of openness that doesn't happen at any other time. This is when emotional imprinting occurs. What you do in these crucial minutes literally shapes how he'll remember this experience and how he'll feel about you going forward. The sacred window. Think of the 10-20 minutes after intense intimacy as a sacred window when his heart and mind are completely open. During this time, whatever energy you bring, whatever words you speak, whatever care you show, all of it gets absorbed at the deepest level. Masterful aftercare practices, the art of presence, simply being fully present with him, not rushing to the next thing, not checking your phone, not mentally moving on. Your complete presence in these moments communicates value and care at a profound level. Gentle physical connection, light touches that comfort rather than stimulate. Running your fingers through his hair, resting your hand on his heart, gentle caresses on his back or arms. This maintains the energetic connection while allowing him to settle. Emotional attunement. Pay attention to his emotional state without trying to fix or change it. If he's quiet, be peacefully quiet with him. If he seems emotional, hold space for whatever he's feeling without judgment. Sacred communication. This is not the time for casual conversation or logistics. If you speak, let it be from your heart. I love how we connect. You're safe here with me. This is beautiful. Creating emotional imprints. Remember, you're not just providing aftercare, you're creating an emotional imprint that will last. When a man experiences this level of care after vulnerability, it creates a neurological pathway that associates you with safety, comfort, and deep satisfaction. The bonding ritual, consider creating a simple ritual for these moments. A few minutes of synchronized breathing, gentle, non-sexual touch while maintaining eye contact, sharing one thing you felt or appreciated about the connection, simply holding each other in appreciative silence, avoiding common mistakes. Don't immediately jump into casual conversation, check devices, or get distracted. Start planning the next activity, make jokes to lighten the mood, ask analytical questions about the experience. These behaviors, while natural, can break the sacred space and cause him to emotionally withdraw, building long-term connection. When you consistently provide this level of emotional care after intimate moments, you're not just being nice, you're training his nervous system to associate you with complete safety and satisfaction. This creates a deep craving for your specific energy and presence that goes far beyond physical attraction. This is how you become irreplaceable, not because you're the most skilled technically, but because you understand the full arc of intimate connection and you show up as a master of the emotional landscape. Now we come to the ultimate goal, creating the kind of connection where desire doesn't fade, but actually deepens over time. This is about becoming the woman he doesn't just want, but needs, craves, and can't imagine living without. The psychology of lasting desire. Here's what most people get wrong about desire. They think it's about novelty, excitement, or keeping things unpredictable. But lasting desire, the kind that survives years, challenges, and changes, is built on something much deeper, authentic intimacy. When a man experiences true intimacy with you, the kind where he can be completely himself, vulnerable and strong, surrendered yet empowered, he doesn't want to find that somewhere else. He wants to go deeper with you, the authentic connection framework, emotional transparency, be genuinely yourself, including your desires, boundaries, and feelings. Authenticity creates space for his authenticity, and real intimacy can only happen between two people being real. Curious exploration approaches body, mind, and heart with genuine curiosity rather than assumptions. Keep discovering new layers of who he is and how he experiences pleasure and connection. Consistent presence. Show up as the same emotionally available, caring person in all contexts. Reliability and emotional safety creates trust that goes deeper than surface attraction. Sacred respect. Treat what he shares with you, his vulnerabilities, his pleasures, his fears, as sacred information that you honor and protect, creating irreplaceable value. You become irreplaceable not by being perfect, but by being the person with whom he can be his fullest self. When you combine emotional intelligence, physical presence and skill, spiritual depth and care, authentic curiosity about who he truly is, you create a combination that can't be replicated by anyone else. The ripple effect when you master this level of intimate connection, it doesn't just improve your romantic life, it transforms you as a woman. You develop a quiet confidence, a deep knowing of your own power, and an ability to create profound connection that serves you in all areas of life. Sustaining the magic. Remember that this kind of connection requires ongoing attention. Keep exploring and growing together. Maintain the practices that create safety and intimacy. Continue being curious about his evolving needs and desires. Stay committed to your own growth and authenticity, the ultimate truth. The woman who understands these principles doesn't have to worry about keeping a man interested. She doesn't have to compete with other women or constantly prove her worth. She becomes the standard by which all other connections are measured. When you give a man the experience of being completely seen, safely vulnerable, and deeply satisfied, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually, you don't just win his desire. You transform his understanding of what's possible in intimate connection. This is your power as a woman to create the kind of love and intimacy that heals, transforms, and elevates both of you. Beautiful women, you now have the knowledge that most never discover. You understand that true power in intimate relationships doesn't come from tricks or techniques. It comes from your ability to create sacred space for deep connection. You know how to reach not just his body, but his heart and soul. You understand the art of holding space for vulnerability, the importance of emotional aftercare, and how to build the kind of desire that lasts a lifetime. But knowledge without action is just information. I want you to choose one insight from today that resonated most deeply with you. Maybe it's the importance of emotional safety, or the power of presence during vulnerable moments, or the understanding that his deepest pleasure comes through surrender rather than performance. Take that one insight and find a way to embody it in your next intimate connection. Don't try to implement everything at once. Instead, focus on bringing more presence, more curiosity, and more authentic care to how you show up. Remember, you have the power to transform not just your intimate relationships, but to be the kind of woman who changes how the men in your life understand love, connection, and their own capacity for deep feeling. The world needs women who understand these truths, women who can create healing through intimacy, who can hold space for vulnerability, and who know how to love in ways that transform everyone involved. You are that woman. Step into your power. Create the kind of love that changes lives, starting with your own. Trust yourself. You have everything you need to create extraordinary, intimate connections. Now, go out there and show the world what sacred intimacy looks like.